Welcome to the second video in my series on Filmic Pro. In this video, I'm going to go through some of the recommended settings that I think you should set the app to before you start filming. I'm still pitching this video at a truly beginner's level, so I'm not going to go too technical, and I'm also not going to discuss all the things you can do with this app. I'll just give you the absolute basics that you need to know to start filming. So to set the settings, you click on the cog in the bottom right, and let's start with resolution, the top one. Basically, this is setting the quality of our image and also the size of it. For instance, if you were filming for Instagram or Snapchat, you may want to set it to a 1:1 size. This means that you're filming in a square. Or if you were trying to go cinematic, you could do that one as well. But for our purposes, just for pure video playback, keep it on 16:9, the default. In terms of the quality, I recommend just leaving it on HD 1080p. Depending on your phone, you can get it all the way up to 4K, but for us, just leave it on 1080p. In terms of the megabytes per second, this is the quality of the image and also relative to how much space it is going to take up on your phone. Now, I would recommend, if you can, putting it on 50 megabytes per second. That will give you the most high quality image. However, it means that it's going to start chewing up a lot of space on your phone. So please only do this if you have a phone with, say, 32, 64, 128 gigs of free space. If you have an older phone with a smaller memory, then you're going to want to bump this down either to 32 or maybe even to 24. But for my purposes, I'm going to have it on 50. All right, the next thing I want to go through, frame rate, you don't really need to worry about. We're filming for the web, but for our purposes, just leave it on 24 frames per second. And if for some reason it's not, you can always just see down there what it should be. If that number is not 24, then go back and change it. Audio is very important. The first level of the audio is setting what your microphone is, where you can either set the front mic, the back mic, or the side mic, which is where you speak into when you're having a phone call. You should leave it on the back mic unless you are using an external microphone, in which case the app will automatically set it to the external microphone. It's smart like that. In terms of the file size, I recommend leaving it on AIFF. It's a high quality type of audio file, and leaving it on also 48 kilohertz. If you scroll down, we have some other options. I would turn off automatic gain correction and also leave off voice processing as well. All right, that is probably all you need to know in terms of getting your shot right. I'll go through some of the other settings as well. In top left of the app when you are filming, there's a little arrow, and if you click on that, you get access to even more customization options. Some of these are actually quite important. First off the rank, we have our audio gain. So basically, in the last video, I explained the significance of this green bar, and now what we can do is adjust our gain higher and lower. If I move it up higher, then you can see that the audio volume is getting louder and louder, and it's starting to approach that kind of orangey red area where we really don't want it to be. If I move it all the way down, then now it's so low that we're probably picking up almost next to no sound. So just make sure that your audio monitor is hitting that kind of sweet spot in the middle there. The next we have our rule of thirds guidelines. This can be really useful in terms of framing your shot to ensure that it meets the rule of thirds and also that your horizon lines are straight. Next we have image stabilization. Now, I would recommend having image stabilization off if you're using a tripod. Right now, I do have my phone set up in a tripod, so I don't need stabilization on. If you're going handheld though, turn it on, and it will just help stabilize the shot. Next, we have the information of the app. Then we can switch the camera to our front-facing camera if you ever want to. And also, you also have turning on the flash. You can't really see there. You can probably see a bit better there. If you hold the flash, you can adjust the brightness of that flash as well, up or down. Finally, you also have setting the zoom features. Now, I am not going to talk about that because I recommend when you are filming shots using a smartphone, you should never zoom. And that is probably all you need to know in terms of having a basic beginner's overview of Filmic Pro, and you can go out and start filming some great video.